Joining us here for the 2024 edition of the Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference. We're coming to you from the Hyatt Regency here in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. We have over 800 delegates from 15 countries, over 83 exhibition booths, and a lot of exciting content happening here over the next 3 days as we take a look at all the local developments and international regional developments in the energy sector. If you're just now joining us, if you are new to the environment, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an exciting year, a lot of positive developments. I'm just going to recap some of the things which have happened on the local landscape. We've had the restructuring of the Atlantic completed. We've had a license signed for the Dragon gas field. We've had deep water exploration block production sharing contract signed. We've also had first gas from Cascadura and other fields. And of course, we're having our first major solar project in the country under construction. A lot of exciting things happening. We've been checking in for the morning so far. Of course, with the main conference, all of our panelists, we heard from the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago as well. We've been hearing from many of the stakeholders. Well, we want to check in now with one of our other exhibitors, and not just an exhibitor in the field that she's in right now. This is someone who's had quite a long history in the energy sector as well. Her name is Joanna Rostan. Right now, she is with Yay Entertainment, who is the franchise holder for Chuck E. Cheese in the Caribbean, but this is a long-time energy industry stakeholder as well. Joanna, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
What are your thoughts on this year's conference so far? Again, the theme, accelerating action.
It's first of all fabulous to be back. Probably 10 years out of coming to the conference. It's nice to be back. Accelerating action, fantastic, hugely overdue. This country hasn't had a major hydrocarbon find in 10, 15 years. It's overdue. It's there. It needs to come out the ground. They need to have the right terms. They need to have the right laws, the right regulations to bring it up and start using it.
Now, it's interesting to see your company here, knowing your background, knowing your industry background, and seeing Chuck E. Cheese. Tell me about the alignment between Yay Entertainment, Chuck E. Cheese, and the Energy Conference and the linkage.
Okay, so I'll take it from the macro level first. And this is the way I look at the economy. The economy is an ecosystem. And the center, the engine room of that is the energy industry. Yeah. We talk about diversification. It's the right thing to do. But at the end of the day, energy is big. Yeah. We've got it. We can do it. We have the right people. We have the right technologies. We've got the right systems. We've got to do it as a country. And, if you take the whole macroeconomic, what I would call the ecosystem or the food chain of Trinidad, the energy sits at the top, right? The apex predator. Number service companies, but it goes way below the energy industry. There are banks, there are catering companies, there are HR services companies. There are all of these companies, of which I am one, that function and do well when energy does well.
Correct.
We are all incredibly interlinked as an economy, driven by the engine of the energy sector. So when energy is up, we got UTT, we got Gate Education when Atlantic was at its prime. As a citizen and a executive in the energy industry, insanely proud in the mid-90s what we were able to develop for our citizens. That train has slowed. We need to get that train back on. So to be back in the energy and see the theme of accelerating action, incredible for us non-energy companies. Why Chuck E. Cheese? Everyone said, what's going on? What on earth is Chuck E. Cheese doing in an energy conference? Well, we, apart from our entertainment side of the company, I'm insanely proud of the business we built in edutainment, where we teach the children science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM concepts. So right now, we have multitudes of field trips that we teach the children STEM, heavily intertwined with the energy industry. First of all, the energy companies have STEM agendas. They build the next set of engineers, 21st century skills. So for me, being here was natural. We fit perfectly with energy.
Joanna, we're going to hold that thought. We're going to take everyone back stateside now to the rest of the conference. Joanna will be joining us again in the conference to talk to me as this progresses, because there are a lot of other exciting developments coming up that I wanted to weigh in on. Thanks for staying with us.
Good morning.
This year's energy conference is Accelerating Action. Well, as we said, there's over 800 participants, delegates upstairs in the conference. We also have countries, about 15 countries around the world, with representatives taking place here, participating here. And of course, we have a trade show, an exhibition hall, which has approximately 83 booths over here. Before we went to the panels, we were having a conversation with Joanna Rostart here of Yay Entertainment. She's also the franchise holder for Chuck E. Cheese. Now, before the commercial break, we were having a conversation about how Chuck E. Cheese could possibly be related to an energy conference. And the thing is, we have to accept that every single thing is directly hinged on the success or failure of energy in economies and energy-based economies like Trinidad and Tobago. So, Joanna, back to the conversation we were having before. What are some of the things you also, by the way, have a long history in the energy sector yourself?
Yeah.
And it's based on that. What are some of the things, knowing the energy sector and now being, the franchise holder for Chuck E. Cheese in Trinidad and Tobago, what are some of the things companies like yours in the service and food industry are looking forward to from the energy sector to make your business grow and to make your business better? What are some of the things that you want to see happen?
Well, me personally, given my history in the energy sector, I just want to see a reinvigoration of the sector like we had in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I was lucky enough and privileged enough in my career to work a lot of time on the Atlantic, getting first gas into Atlantic 2, 3, an exhilarating time in my energy career, when Trinidad had lots of gas and lots of gas to put in lots of interesting projects, not only Atlantic, but the estate. Now, I was personally more involved in Atlantic, but the estate. And we saw, the huge Methanexes, all the large companies just mushroom in the estate. And as an energy, professional, it was a wonderful time. As a Trinidadian, it was an equally wonderful time. And there is, every chart will show you there's a direct link between our GDP and success and getting gas out to the ground and into plants.
Right.
And in the mid-90s, as a Trinidadian, we got GATE education, so people who could not afford tertiary education were able to afford it. Huge advances in industry, as crazy as it sounds, price smart, the kind of things that raised our standard of living in many ways.
Yes.
And why Chuck E. Cheese? What's the link? Well, there's a direct link, but there's also a macroeconomic link. The better the energy industry does in Trinidad, the better everybody does. Not only Chuck E. Cheese, but the lady selling roti, Massey, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When energy does well, we all do well. It's a shared win. So I have a professional, but also a personal vested interest in seeing the energy business take off again. Now, what's the link between Chuck E. Cheese and energy? That's a crazy one. When I embarked on Chuck E. Cheese, which is largely an entertainment concept, there was a jumbie in my head telling me that there was more to offer the children of Trinidad and Tobago, not just games and play. And our facilities are amazing. They're huge. We have incredible AV systems. There's lots of seating for children. And I started to interview principals on how I could bring education into entertainment. And about 6 years ago, I launched what I would say would be our edutainment side of our business. Mm-hmm. So again, you asked me the link. I started a STEM program. First started working with Nehurst, other STEM providers. And then more recently, I discovered an ex-Atlantic engineer. So she worked many years in Atlantic, who had a burning desire to teach children STEM. Mm-hmm. So I formed an agreement with her. The name of her company is Smart Kids. She's incredibly passionate about teaching children STEM. And we, over the years, created a fantastic STEM field trip content for children. Now, what I like about it, all my boys, I have 3 boys, all my boys have been educated in the local system, having gone through, well, we live in Port of Spain, so I've gone through Fatima. And I always felt educationally that they were missing the STEM contents, even when they were in primary school or secondary school. And then from a professional level, my many years in BG, now Shell, I did a lot of interviews with a lot of engineers and a lot of really smart finance people and a lot of incredibly intelligent young Trinidadians who, did top 200 in SEA and were exceptional in O levels, got scholarships. On paper, extremely intelligent, but put them in an office and there was 20th century skills missing. Teamwork, problem solving, accountability, all the ones that go into 20th century education, of which STEM is center.
Yeah.
So I felt that not only it would be really cool to create a STEM offering, but it will fuel the next set of engineers, the next set of bright sparks that we need to take our energy sector up and explode it and let this country be what it can be with its resources and its people.
It's a deeper, you're taking it to a deeper level when it comes to corporates, social responsibility and ESG. You're looking at the future generation and how Chuck E. Cheese and in your company, Yay Entertainment, give back.
Absolutely. People say corporate responsibility. I call it corporate necessity. It's not an obligation of a corporation to do it, but it's an obligation if you want a sustainable company to create the next set of smart young people to take your company somewhere. You can't carry it. Likewise, my company, I can't carry it forever. My obligation is to train my younger staff with the right skills to take it and move it forward, whether me or someone else. That's our obligation as CEOs.
I can't help you but to draw you into a different conversation. There is a book that is going to be launched at this conference tomorrow about women in energy. Now, you spent a lot of your career, a lot of time in the energy sector, as well as you said with Shell. I want you to talk to me a little bit, just for a few minutes before we go to a commercial break, about your experience in energy and to draw you into that. What were some of the main challenges that you faced in energy when you were actively involved in the energy sector? And have you seen progress to where we are right now at the start of 2024?
Huge progress. From where I started in 95, working offshore in Alaska, Venezuela, Houston, and I was even not allowed to be on a rig. I got dropped by a helicopter, and the gentleman in charge of the rig said he didn't want women there, and I was left on the heli deck for the night to spend the night under the Venezuelan stars and get picked up by the first helicopter out. My crew brought me a blanket and a pillow, and I slept on a Venezuelan heli deck for a night.
What was going through your mind at that point? Was there a place for you in energy, or were you defiant?
No, totally. It was a place for an energy, and I was pretty confident that I could wake it up. Because you look at UE, you look at the demo of engineers, they're not all boys. There are a lot of girls. They're smart, they're driven, they have a lot to contribute. You need to make a place for them. And that's what corporations, if you ask me, over the time, the 20, 30 years, well, 20 years in energy, that I've been there, lots of strides for the benefit. I've seen, ladies have different requests, right? Some of us are childbearing when we are young and smart, so we need to have flexibility and whatnot. I was lucky enough to work for a company, BG, who was incredibly flexible, gave me lots of options. But as I tell my young children now, regardless of your sex, your religion, your grace, you need to build that credibility and trust with your bosses to get the flexibility that you want. It's not a given. But it's a two-way street. The employee helps the corporation helps the employee.
What would you say now to some of the major companies? And what advice would you give them about having female participation in their organizations as they head into the future?
Well, diversity is a key of life, right? In more ways than one. I will not want to beat my chest and say women's lib is the way to go. What I will beat my chest and say, give the right person the job. Be it color, race, gender, does not matter. Give the right person the job. I don't believe that you should have, me personally, I don't believe you should have quotas. You just need to give the right people the job that deserve the job. And more often than not, they are young women. You give them. I mean, we'd love to see more women contribute in energy. Energy is our engine room of this country. How come we don't have more women at the top?
Final words. I know we have a lot to get through over the next few days as well. Final words, Joanna.
Congratulations to all my ladies in that book. It's incredible to be a successful woman in the energy sector. It's amazing. Not only is it male dominated, but it is the engine of this country, and you are contributing to each one of our future.
All right, I want to thank Joanna Rostan for joining us. She is of Yay Entertainment, also the franchise holder for Chuck E. Cheese. You are here with me on day one of the Trinidad and Tobago Energy Conference. I'm coming to you from the Hyatt Hotel in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago, where over 800 delegates have gathered from 15 countries around the world to talk about basically advancing and accelerating the industry. We've had many positive developments here on the local energy landscape. What else is to come? Will stay with us in the next few minutes. We have more interviews coming up.